Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Not too bad. My name is Dustin. How you doing? Or,
Good,
sorry, what
good.
is your name?
Heather.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to
I
meet you
am
too.
getting things set up here. I need to make sure that people, let's see here. I need to make
And
sure
I
that they
know Jamie
raise
will
their
be
hands.
joining me from IUPUI.
Okay. Are you going to have screen share and or audio?
Not audio, we will have screen share, but I see I have the
Okay,
button.
perfect. Thank goodness you're not doing audio. I did one with audio for I think it was University of South Carolina, and it did not go well. So I commend
Nope,
you for not for not having a video put in there. Let me
nope.
close the door real quick so that we don't have someone jump in. One second. If you want to do a test of your screen share, you can
Yep,
go ahead
let's do
and
it
do
now.
that if
That's
you'd
always a
like.
good plan.
Perfect.
And then I just want to make sure it's not showing. Now, when you see it, you don't see like yours looks normal, correct?
No, I'm seeing the presenter view. So I'm
Okay,
seeing like all the stuff.
okay, will other people see that or no?
Yes. So what I'm seeing is what they would see as well. So do you have dual monitors going on right now, or do you only have one
I
monitor?
do. That's the problem. Okay, let me get it off. I don't need dual monitors because I was like, what is happening? This wasn't
Well,
happening.
if you want to have dual monitors, you can just share the monitor
Okay,
that
wait.
the
What about
slide.
now? Better?
Now you're good. Yep,
Okay,
now it's just IUPUI.
I'm not worrying about it.
Okay, cool.
I don't
You
need
said there's
it.
going to be a second person on too?
Yeah, Jamie Newsome.
Okay. And are you going to be the only one sharing screen, or will she also be sharing
I will
screen?
only be sharing the screen.
Okay, perfect. Not a problem. That shouldn't be a problem. I will have a screen that pops up that says at the very beginning, it's like basically how they ask questions. You all will be monitoring the chat and the Q&A. If they recommend that you don't like approve it for everyone to see, that you just kind of answer the question not independently, but kind of like privately to the student in the chat, or you can speak it through the audio. If you can't get through all the questions, they will send you the questions. I think it's about a week later is when they get sent. So you'll get the listing of all the students that attend, and then any questions that aren't there will be a week later. And I will come on with about 5 minutes to go. And if you're running long, there'll just be I'll take over, and I'll take over the screen. You'll be able to continue to talk, but it'll have like a thank you for joining us. And
Okay.
I'll need to do like some quick wrap-ups of letting them know if there's a survey, that they can sign up for more, and that there'll be a recording available. I think it's about a week later is when the recording comes out as well. So
Sounds good. Well, Jamie and I did it in the spring and we did not go over, so I don't think we
cool.
will. And she monitored the chat so I could just kind of keep
Perfect.
going. So I think we'll
Nice.
probably do the same.
I think that'll work out well. Like I said, the one that I did for University of South Carolina, they only had one person, and that was a little bit of a struggle trying to like have the person present and do the chat both. So this will work out well that you got two of you here.
Jamie, you're
And it'll
not
go
wearing your
until
meeting sweater. What's going on? Oh, you're muted.
I know. I don't have my meeting sweater on. I feel like I should get it. I don't actually know what happened. My youngest found it and never gave it back. So
So we were just talking, quick housekeeping. So he'll get on at 5 minutes left in case you're running over. We can keep talking, but note that we're in a 5-minute window. And then you're monitoring the chat. I'll share the PowerPoint.
yeah, that sounds good. Do you want to just present and I monitor the chat, or do you still want to go back and forth?
What's your name, Aaron? I'm sorry.
Dustin.
Dustin. Oh, that was even close.
I would recommend one person so that way you don't have to like hand it off, if you will. That seemed to, like I said, the video that University of South Carolina had, it was just so choppy. I felt very bad because like the students were like, I could see in the chat that they're like, they were only getting like every other word. So I would leave as little to chance with technology as possible and just have one person present, unless you two like really have a good flow of you're like, I love doing this slide,
I
you love
can
doing that
present,
slide.
Jamie. I'm good.
Okay. I'm going to run grab my sweater because now I feel self-conscious about not having
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just teasing.
I know, but I'll be right back. Hold on.
Okay.
And then it goes until 45 minutes past the hour. We have to cut off then because there's someone right after you, but they need this login. So I don't know if you've ever done it from the host side or from the moderator side. We all use the same login over all of these. So someone could potentially try and log in while you're here, but they can't like disrupt it until 45 minutes. If it gets to be like 10 minutes to 5, then they really can like cut us off. And like,
We
be
should
able to
not go
stop.
long. I think we
Okay,
should be
cool.
done in 40 minutes max.
Perfect. Sounds good.
We try to keep it going because I know. So see now, Jim, we have match it. We're IUPUI colors, right? Oh, you're muted again. All
Now
right.
I've got school colors on, so that helps.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll just share the PowerPoint and I'll just confirm because last time, remember, I thought I shared and I didn't. So let's make sure.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe have it pulled up too, Jamie, in case. I got it this time, but just in case.
Okay. I've got it too, just in case we need it.
Okay.
Let's see.
I have everything shut off, so it shouldn't be beeping.
I know. Oh, that reminds me. I need to get rid of my emails. Close my emails out.
Yeah, I want to close that out too. All right. I think I'm good.
You know, we've done this 7 million times. You think we'd be experts at it, but it's
I
still not
know.
working.
But see, this time at least, let's hope my dog doesn't bark. She barked last time.
My sister's not in the background going like, whoa.
Hopefully my kids don't come banging on the door, but I think we'll be good.
Here's what they said about answering the questions. They recommend, like I said, don't answer live, type an answer and send it privately. But I mean, if you want to answer it live, I don't see why that's a huge deal, but that's just what they recommend. And like I said, you'll get the listing of questions at the end or a week later, and listing of names and all that stuff so that way you can get them loaded into your system.
Jamie, do you want to do this at the end when we have questions, like the question slide? If you have any really good questions you think a lot of people are asking, do you just want to get on and say, I know students are asking this is the answer,
Yeah.
and I'll just sit back? Awesome.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. I will jump on and be the moderator. Also, if anybody pops on with a question that's related to what you're talking about, I might just be like, well, that's kind of annoying. I won't do that because that'll interrupt you and be weird.
If you guys have like a side chat, that might be a good way to get that info, like Google Hangouts or like just even text. I know we at BG have done that when we do we usually have a moderator and someone presenting, and we've got like a side chat going on if something like real important needs to get passed off to the presenter.
I got my phone.
I was going to say, I shut mine off, but in case there's something really important, I'll have it out.
Yeah. Okay. I think we only have like 7 people signed up, so I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
how many will actually be here?
I know, I feel like there's no point in saying we're from Chicago. Jamie, I feel like I'm going to have to like get that out of my head.
Oh yeah, I know.
Did you work with Drew Smalls, obviously?
I do. His sister is my boss here in the office. I'm not sure if he mentions Erin or not, but she is.
Did not know that.
Yeah, so they both work here in admissions, and she's associate director. I'm assistant director, and then he's obviously the regional in Chicago.
Fun. Jamie and I are both Chicago regionals.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, very nice. Yeah, he's been loving it out there. The first year that he moved out there, we went to. He had just moved in when we were going to Slate Summit, we're Slate School, and he had literally just moved in like maybe a week ago. So he was coming with us everywhere we went so he could get to know the city, and then obviously like just hanging out at Slate because they don't check any IDs and you can just go in there whenever you want and just check out all the sessions. So
Nice.
He's been loving it there. How long have you two been there?
I've lived in Chicago for 10 years now,
Okay, nice,
so a while. I've been with IUPUI for almost 3.
cool.
I'm born and raised, never left south suburbs
Oh,
of
nice.
Chicago. And then I've been with IUPUI a little over a year, but 8th year in admissions.
Nice, very nice. I've been at BG. This is my second time at BG, my 5th year in this assistant director position. I was at Colorado State for a little bit, and then at BG is where I started. So I've been 10 years in admissions now.
Goes fast.
It does.
It does
yeah.
go fast. I know. I realized that my 2021 was going to be my 25th high school reunion, and I about had a heart attack. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, so we just moved into a new house in like a new neighborhood, and I asked people like, "Oh, so where'd you go to high school?" And my husband was like, "Heather, you're so far removed from high school. Why are you asking people that?" We would ask them like, "Where did you guys live before this?" I was like, "I don't know. I guess I still think like that's where I associate from." Guess that was a long time ago.
All right, here we go. Can do it, Heather. I'm right here.
I just want to screen share properly. I did it right the first time, and now I feel more.
And you can, when I'm done, I'll turn off my video and you can just take over the screen share and it'll automatically take all this down.
Sounds good.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Ohio Association for College Admissions Counseling presentation with Iupui. Just a few reminders before we get started. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask, you can use the Q&A section. Our presenters will be able to respond to those. If they can't get to all questions during the presentation, they will be sure to follow up with you after the presentation. Your camera and microphone are both off, and the presenters are not able to see you, so make sure you ask those questions through the Q&A chat box. You can sign up for additional sessions at oacac.org, and that is also where the recording of today's presentation will be available once about a week after the event, I should say. So with that, I will go ahead and hand it over to the representatives from Iupui.
Hi, everyone. My name is Heather Hawker, and I am one of the admissions counselors at Iupui. We are excited that you are here joining us today, and we're going to go through some great information about Iupui. All right. So Iupui is located in downtown Indianapolis. So we are very lucky to be in an amazing city that offers an amazing education to our students. So you truly have the best of three worlds. You are able to get either an IU or a Purdue degree, depending on your academic program. So some of our programs, as you graduate in your 4 years, you will have an IU diploma or a Purdue diploma. And you get either one of these in an amazing city of Indianapolis, which we'll cover more soon. So some quick information about Iupui. We were founded in 1969. We are located in downtown Indianapolis. We have a little over 21,000 undergrad students. We are Division I athletics, and we compete in the Horizon League. We have 18 degree granting schools, including our honors college. So here is a list of all of our academic schools that students are able to study in, and we will be able to show you all of the majors that are available to students. There is truly a major for everyone here. There is opportunities to be able to connect with the city of Indianapolis. We have 5 hospitals on our campus, so you truly are able to connect and build networks throughout your education, not only in the classroom, but also throughout your education. So I'm just gonna quickly go through some of the different colleges that we have. So you'll see our art school and the different majors that are available to students. We have our Kelly School of Business, which is an amazing school that is able to really connect with Indianapolis. We have Salesforce, Eli Lilly in downtown Indianapolis. So you're able to really build your resume while you're a student as you go on. We also have our School of Dentistry, and a fun fact is about 80% of the dentists in Indiana have attended Iupui's dental school. We do have the School of Education. We have our School of Engineering and Technology with the only motorsports engineering program in the country. We do have our School of Health and Human Sciences, Informatics and Computing, our School of Liberal Arts, a law school, The IU School of Medicine is located on our campus, and I did mention that we do have 5 hospitals on our campus, including Briley's Children's Hospital. We have a School of Nursing, the world's only school of philanthropy, and we have an environmental Paul O'Neill School of Public and Environmental Affairs. Our Fairbanks School of Public Health, we do have an epidemiology major with everything going on right now. The IU school, IUPUI is really able to do some amazing things with COVID testing and different things that are happening on our campus. We have our School of Science, School of Social Work. We do have University College. So if you were a student like me, I wasn't sure what I wanted to study as I was coming into college. So students can start in University College and then kind of branch from there into a specific program. Or if your program is not a direct admit program, you would start in University College. We do have our honors program, which you can apply to. And then we do have some great graduate schools as well. So steps for your freshman admission. We recommend you have 2 options to apply. You can apply through our IU application, or you can apply through the common application. We did go test, this is our first year going test optional. We had made that decision last fall. So the nice thing is, as a student, you can decide whether or not you would like to send your ACT or SAT scores. We do just require the application, your transcripts and an essay, and then if you choose to send your test scores, you can. But if you would prefer to apply test optional, that's okay too. And just to note, all of our scholarships are tied to GPA. They are not tied to your test scores. So you're not hindered by scholarships whether you choose to apply test optional or not. So some minimum requirements for admission. If you are a student applying test optional, we usually like to say we like to see around a 3.0. If you are a student that is kind of on the bubble, so maybe you're looking between a 2.8 and a 3.0, and you have taken the ACT or SAT, we would recommend seeing around 1,000 or a 19. You can see our averages are about a 3.49 and an 1120 on the SAT and a 22 on the ACT. And one thing to note too is that all of our schools do have direct admission program except our honors college. If you are interested in applying to the honors school, you would need to submit test scores. So our costs of attendance. So we have a few different buckets. So if you're a resident, obviously you would see our costs, but coming from Ohio, you are an MSEP state. So the nice thing about that is you do get a heavily discounted tuition. So your MSEP award is roughly a little over $17,000. So it drastically discounts your tuition and fees and brings you down to about $14,342. So it's a great savings to be able to be from Ohio and go to school in Indiana. Not only do we have the MSEP for students, we also have additional scholarships. So we do have our honors college. You do need to apply by November 15th. It is competitive, and you do need to be admitted to IUPUI prior to applying to the honors college. So if you have not applied yet to IUPUI, we would recommend doing that as soon as possible and completing your application. That does come with a great scholarship and a great opportunities for students. We also have competitive scholarships and diversity scholarships, and you need to apply for those by February 15th. The nice thing is they may be tied to your major. So if you're interested in engineering, it may be you can apply to engineering scholarships. There's diversity scholarships. So there's a whole wide range of scholarships that students are able to apply through our scholarship system. And then we also have admissions-based scholarships. So you don't have to fill out a separate application. Just for being admitted to IUPUI, you would automatically be reviewed to see if you were eligible to receive additional scholarships that are admission-based on top of the MSEP. So just a timeline, I think it's always helpful. I always like to tell my students to try to get your applications completed by Halloween. That's a good time to know that everything is set and done, so that you're not missing additional deadlines. So you would see November 15th is our priority deadline for full merit scholarships, our deadline for our honors college, and we encourage you filing your FAFSA as soon as you can in October, but we recommend applying no later than November 15th. By mid-December, you'll see they announce financial aid packages. We have our honors scholars review, and those notifications go out as well. And then from February 15th, the deadline to apply for our competitive scholarships comes up. And then by mid-March, you would receive your notification whether or not you received those scholarships. So one thing that's exciting is we are offering in-person visits. So if you were interested in doing that, we would recommend going to our website to sign up for an in-person visit in advance. If you happen to be in Indianapolis and it wasn't planned and you didn't have time to sign up in person, you could always do your own walking tour. So we can provide you a walking tour that is self-guided, or you could look at all of our virtual visit options. We have wonderful virtual visit options through our specific colleges as well as through admissions. So I do recommend you take time to look at that and see if you can find a good time to visit us. So what questions, I know Jamie Newsom is also one of our admissions counselors, and she is monitoring the questions and to see if we have any.
I do have a couple of questions about student life. Can you talk a little bit about more about what is available to students on campus?
Sure. So we have 500 clubs and organizations for students to choose from. So there's truly so much opportunity for students on campus. The nice thing is that we also have some traditions. Like we have a regatta, which is our boat race down the canal. That's a really fun weekend. There's food trucks. It's almost, I would say, equivalent to like a homecoming. Then not only that, we have our Jagathon, which is a dance marathon that we raise money for Riley's Children's Hospital that's located on our campus. For our clubs and organizations, there's different brackets, so they could be fun. So just a fun club that maybe is just something, an outlet to get away from school, or there are some specific clubs. Maybe it's related to your major, or cultural clubs or diversity clubs. All of those are opportunities for students to get involved. We do have fraternities and sororities as well. We don't have specific housing for that, but they do some wonderful things on our campus.
Thanks. We're also getting questions about housing in general. Can you talk a little bit about what housing options and whether or not students can live on campus?
Yes, so we have 5 residence halls on campus. So with that, freshmen can live in any of those residence halls. So you are able to, there's a suite style housing. So it actually was an old hotel that was renovated completely to our housing. So the look, feel, smell is like a hotel, but it's 2 to 3 beds per room. Then on top of that, we do have community style housing that is designated called Ball Hall to all freshmen. Then we also have townhomes, apartments. We have Baroque apartments. And with that, in our university center, I know with housing, you often talk about food. So we have dining halls available for students in our tower dining. Again, that was a hotel that got renovated. So it has an amazing 2 amazing restaurants in there. In our university center, we do have a Chick-fil-A, a Panda Express, a new taco restaurant, a market, and a smoothie place. There's Caribou, Starbucks, our bookstore is located there. So that's a great hangout to grab some food, relax. It's a great socialization area.
Awesome. I also just wanted to add too that a lot of students ask about whether or not housing is required for first year students. Unfortunately, it's not, because we actually can't guarantee housing. So we don't have enough space for everybody. Just under half of our first year students live on campus. So what we recommend that you do is to go ahead and submit your housing application if Iupui is maybe one of your top 3 choices and you would like to live on campus. That application will open November 1st of every year. You simply submit the application, and then come March or April, that's when the housing contracts will go out. So filling out the application for housing doesn't commit you to Iupui. It simply says, hey, I'm interested and I would like to live on campus. We also have a lot of students that are living right around campus. So since most of our students don't live on campus, they are going to live in apartments that are located just off campus. So some of them may even find that their apartments are closer to their classes depending on where their classes are on campus. Somebody asked about study abroad.
So we have great study abroad opportunities for students. You can almost go anywhere in the world. So you would work with our study abroad office. Most students, if you're an incoming freshman, the earliest you can go is going into your sophomore year. So the nice thing is you can go sophomore, junior, or senior year. I know personally I studied abroad my senior year, but sometimes people are like, that's so late, but I worked out no problem, graduated on time. So I always recommend studying abroad. It's an amazing opportunity to really immerse yourself in a new culture. So the nice thing is depending on where you want to go, you work directly with our study abroad office to look at different options and universities that would fit your needs.
And somebody was asking about internships. Can you talk a little bit more about how those work?
Yeah, so the way at IUPUI, we are so lucky to be in Indianapolis. Students are able to walk right to internships. You don't have to worry about, well, I'm in this area that doesn't have a lot of business, and now how am I gonna build my resume? So you can work specifically with your college, you can work with our career development, and you're able to walk and do internships. Some students do internships as early as their freshman, sophomore year, and you could do multiple internships while attending IUPUI, depending on your academic interest. And I know with internships, we also, a lot of times, students want to know about research. Having 5 hospitals on our campus is an amazing opportunity for students to do research. One thing I love when I toured campus, when I started working at IUPUI, is our forensic students were taking saliva DNA matches and we're able to build people at 80% match rate using saliva testing. So these are things that are happening on our campus that are truly amazing, and they're trying to perfect that to hopefully use in the field one day. So the nice thing is, not only do we have the business around us, but we have that amazing science field. So you can do the internships, the research, and be able to work with our faculty and with the areas around us.
Awesome. Somebody's asking about pre-med, and I can actually take this question because I have put together a panel about this. So we obviously don't have a pre-med program. Those don't really exist anymore. What students use now is what we call a pre-med track. So we have a lot of pre-tracks, meaning a pre-medicine track, a pre-dentistry, pre-vet, pre-PT. All those exist on our campus. And what that means is that you will major in whatever you like. And obviously most students are going to choose things like biology, chemistry, in the science field. But we also have a lot of really interesting kind of pre-med track majors, such as epidemiology, which is the study of infectious diseases, or biomedical engineering or biomedical informatics. So several different options that we can have. You'll work with our preps department in the School of Science, and they'll make sure that you're taking the classes necessary to graduate and to be a strong candidate into medical school. As Heather mentioned, research is a really big deal at IUPUI. Our biology students can be in the lab in a research position in the first semester if they so desire. So we really focus strongly on those opportunities and want our students to be able to research as much as possible. Awesome. Can you talk a little about what our most popular majors are?
Sure. So I would say that a lot of times we have students that are interested in, obviously, pre-professional is a big one. So looking at the School of Science, engineering and technology, that is a huge one. A lot of students are interested in engineering. Our nursing program is a non-direct MIT program, but we have a lot of students interested in nursing. I would say too, one thing that I always mention to students, maybe they don't know about it right away, but our informatics program is something that you just don't see at every college. And that's really informatics is studying how humans use the technology. So the technology, how they interact and how that, or how the human interaction with technology works. And I think that sometimes I have students come and say, I'm interested in computers, but I don't want to do coding. So what are options there? So I think that we have a lot of students who are interested in that area. We have an amazing art school. I feel like I maybe don't always hit that right away. I have a ton of students, but just we have amazing opportunities. Like we have furniture design students that create some amazing things. One of the top billboards pool tables is designed by an IUPUI student. So there are some, majors that maybe we don't get a ton of people, but things that happen on our campus that are truly amazing.
And I would like to add that it is absolutely possible to double major. So a question we get a lot is, well, if I attend the Purdue School of Science at IUPUI, can I take other classes outside of that school? The answer is absolutely. So you're going to attend IUPUI. That's going to be your alma mater. That's where you're going to go to college. It's only at the end of the day that you're going to end up with either a Purdue or IU degree. So you're absolutely welcome to major across fields. You can major in different schools. If you wanted to major in motorsports engineering, and Spanish, you could actually walk away with both a Purdue University degree and an IU degree. So that's what I think is really, really cool about IUPUI. It is possible to change your major. So I know that Heather talked a little bit about coming in undecided, which I think is really important if you're not sure what you want to do. But if you do come in as an engineering major and decide, you know what, you're really more interested in the technology side, it's pretty easy to change your major. You just need to work with your advisor on that in order to make that happen. So we are getting some questions about like student to faculty ratio, average class size. So our student to faculty ratio is about 17:1. 80% of our classes are going to have fewer than 40 students. Our average class size is going to be between 25 and 30. So what you're going to find is that you will have some large classes, particularly at the beginning of the semester or the beginning of your academic career, but that as you go into more of your major classes, you're going to see those numbers shrink. So I think that's something that is really, really cool. So you really do kind of get that best of all worlds experience that we mentioned at the very beginning of this presentation. Let me do one more quick check and see. Oh, one more question about test optional and the direct admit into programs. Do you want to take that or you want me to?
Sure, I can take that. So as I mentioned, and this kind of goes along even with applying to IUPUI. So, you know, once you apply, you'll hear from admissions. If you had questions, you could reach out to us. We're always available. And if you were planning on saying, I want to study in Kelley School of Business, but I want to apply test optional, can I do that? And the answer is yes. Any school that you're interested in applying to at IUPUI, you can apply test optional. So you do not need to submit test scores to be directly admitted to our academic programs. The only area that does require a test score is our honors college. So if you're interested in applying to honors college, we then would need test scores. However, you can still apply to IUPUI test optional. When you apply to honors, you would then submit test scores. So you do have that option to apply to IUPUI test optional, but then once you're applying to honors, then you would submit us your test scores.
And somebody asked about the Kelley School of Business. Is that the same school as in Bloomington? The answer is yes. So that is one system. It's not a system-wide institution because it's only at IU Bloomington and IUPUI, but it is the same school. So that has one dean, and then each of the individual campuses will have their own associate dean. So a lot of the programs are the same. The standards are going to be very similar. There are some programs that we offer that IU Bloomington does not, and vice versa. So I definitely encourage you to check that out if you are interested in the Kelley School of Business. You know, one of the advantages of attending Kelley in Indianapolis is just access to internships. So as Heather mentioned, you know, there are a lot of Fortune 500 companies that are headquartered in Indianapolis. In fact, 33% of all businesses in the state of Indiana are based in Indianapolis, which is a pretty large percentage. So have access to things like Eli Lilly, Salesforce, and even fun organizations like the NCAA, the Olympic gymnastic governing body is based there as well. So there's just a lot of options and activities for students. The other thing I wanted to mention really quickly is that if you do decide that you would like to apply with your test scores, they can actually be self-reported. So you don't have to submit an official report from the SAT or the ACT. You can just put those on your application and that is it. So it makes it very simple. All right, last question that I got. Somebody's asking, what is your favorite thing to do in Indianapolis? Heather, you can answer it and I'll answer it.
Okay, my favorite, I actually love the food scene in Indianapolis. So I love trying the new restaurants. There are some amazing places that we tried, and my favorite coffee shop is there. So I always recommend checking out the food and coffee shops. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, the food is really good. And I think my favorite coffee shop is actually Heather's favorite coffee shop. So we love this coffee shop that is downtown. So I would always encourage it. Check Coffee, if you're in Indianapolis, check it out. It is so, so good. But I like just like the different neighborhoods. So Mass Ave is a great place to grab dinner or, you know, do some shopping, just walk along the outside. I think that's really cool. And there are just a lot of fun neighborhoods. I find that Indianapolis is a very accessible city. You are welcome to have a car as a first-year student, but you don't have to. We have a shuttle system that will get you around campus, and then it's very easy to grab an Uber or take public transportation or just even walk throughout the city of Indy. our campus is situated in such a way that you can walk to everything that you would really want to do in downtown Indianapolis within 30 minutes. So everything is within about a half a mile middle of campus. So really such a fantastic location. All right, that's all the questions we have. But you know, my name is Jamie Newsome, and you've met Heather, who's fantastic as well. We are here to help. If there's anything that we can do, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You will find our information on the IUPUI website. So if you just go to iupui.edu, search for Meet Your Counselor, you can put in your information and one of us will pop up. But if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your presentation and for helping everyone out learn a little bit more about IUPUI. Just some quick reminders before we end for the day. There will be a quick survey after you end. If you could please provide those responses, we'd greatly appreciate that. You can sign up for additional sessions at oacac.org, and you can also find recordings of all of the sessions at the same website. That's oacac.org. Thank you, and hope everyone has a great evening.